The 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship is presented by Rady Children's Hospital, the largest children's hospital on the West Coast, ranked among the top 10 best children's hospitals in the nation. Everybody enjoying the outdoors today. Beautiful day here in San Diego. It's been a beautiful week. We're at Torero Stadium on the campus of the University of San Diego. Israel trying to take that next step. They finished 7th in this tournament over the last 2 tournaments, and they're obviously going to have to win today. And Max Silberlich, he's going to have to pull his best Herb Brooks if they're going to pull that upset today.
We had a great conversation with him today, and his understanding of where the program is and how it was built, and having his brother with him along for the ride. Jacob, a starting defender and the leader back on that side of the field.
Max Silberlich, we went to Jerusalem with him and the Latvian team. We were in Netanya 5 years ago. John Danowski was in Netanya 5 years ago as well. He's got a gold medal to prove it, looking for another one this year.
Dino, the legendary coach, took his team to the national championship. It's 1-2 in the 2010s. And
here we go. Trevor Baptiste wins another faceoff. Team USA has won over 80% of the faceoffs in this tournament. They have absolutely dominated both Trevor and C.D. Earl, and that continues to start this game.
That's going to be a big problem for Israel. Now, Israel has done a nice job. They're in the top 10 of the tournament in terms of face-off wins. But you have arguably the best 2 in the world on the same team.
Ian Kadish taking most of the draws for Team Israel, but it's Team USA with the first possession of this game. Kark, you know, big picture with Team USA. You mentioned in the open, the offense has kind of been trying to find itself a little bit. Different rules in this tournament, no shot clock, that kind of thing. But, you know, how much do we see them open up in this game, especially if they can get an early lead? Sowers, look at that move. Shot, save made by Drew Morris. He's going to have to make a whole lot of those tonight.
Yeah, and he's fired up after that save. I thought the first save for Drew Morris, when he was able to sleep last night after the win against Ireland, the 1-goal win, the attention goes to these shooters in the U.S. So to make that first stop and get some confidence, as you see left side of the screen, former Maryland Terp making a dandy of a save.
There's another Maryland Terp. Rambo with the ball in his cross. Unloads it to the far side. Fake shot, score! Well, that's big old Brendan O'Neill, the only college player towards an award winner, and he puts the Americans up 1-0.
This guy is a straight-up cheat code. Rambo gets the eyes of the Israeli defense, and then the face dodge from O'Neill. Everyone is concerned about O'Neill as a stretch shooter. He's playing midfield. His natural position is attack. Normally, he lets it go from there, Cotter. So the scout is there, get out on his hands. How does he counter? He opens up with a nice face dodge to create some more offense, too. So when you're an outside shooter, the luxury of that is you can open up your dodges when teams flush out to you.
Baptiste and Kadish again. We'll see different American face-off specialists, about 1 every 3 face-offs. So Baptiste to start the game, and he's 2-0. And America, Team USA is up 2-0. Michael Earhart with the long pole goal. Veteran of the 2018 campaign. And a quick start for Team USA.
Big Mike, known to stretch a defense with a long pole, starts with another win by Baptiste. That's 2 in a row for the U.S. And then Earhart with absolute smoke. He can fire it from downtown. You watch him play for the Whipsnakes in the PLL. He's one of the best outside shooters in the league with a pole. And I think that's big for the U.S. to create some tempo. We talk about no shot clock. That doesn't mean you can't play fast.
That's what Israel wants to do, too, because they're not sure how many possessions they're going to get, Kark. As we've seen at the start of this game, it has been all Baptiste at the face-off dot, and he wins another one.
Those goals were so close to each other in time, they're announcing them both on the loudspeaker. Yeah.
Also, not only is there no shot clock, there's no clearing clock either. So you could see Blaze Reardon in goal, taking their time. Team USA on the clear. offense will put it back in motion. There's Charlie Bertrand. Down the alley, now back behind the cage. Rambo quickly to the far side. Pinnell puts it in motion. Conrad. Got to the middle of the field, back over to Bertrand. Rambo initially looking to dodge, got a shorty on him, now he comes upfield. Slide comes, tries to get it over to his teammate and can't get it done.
That was good defense.
Ricardo was behind the cage.
Israel timing a double. They stuck with it, disrupted Rambo, who is a house to deal with when he gets on goal line extended, Cotter.
So now our first opportunity to see Israel 6v6. They got a big win last night against Ireland. They built the lead in the third quarter, Kark, only to see the Irish storm all the way back, and Ireland was a man up for the final almost 2 minutes of that game. And Drew Morris and company, he was able to stand on his head, and they were able to preserve the win.
They were, but it was at the expense of potentially losing top scorer Nathan Solomon, who's number 6 in the tournament in goals, coming into today's contest with 12. Sprained ankle, suited up, but I don't know if he's going to be able to go. He's not out there, number 11, in the first possession, and he would be desperately needed in terms of providing a punch.
So you get more from Joey Kraft, number 6. Jackson Apel, number 26. You'll see a lot more of those faces today. Here's Max Krebsky. College lacrosse fans in the States familiar with him. Plays at Yale.
You and I did the Georgetown-Yale game in the first round of the NCAA playoffs. I thought Krebsky was excellent in that game.
Yeah, no question about it. Like, he really started to come on at the end of this year. He's a rising junior at Yale, so number 48 in blue. You'll see him in a darker shade of blue for a couple of years to come in the Ivies.
He's having an awesome time here in the World Championships. When he talked to Coach Silber, like he said, Krebsky's one of those guys dancing with Team Uganda in the opening ceremonies and loving the moment.
That's Ori Bartavid right there, number 53 in blue, one of 2 native Israelis on this team, along with Ronan Abramovich. Team USA on the run. Quick pass, McCardle. Beautiful cut on the outside of the cage. You got a whistle. What was the whistle for?
Might have been inadvertent. I think maybe the ref thought it was a goal too, so I wouldn't be surprised if US gets the ball on the side.
Officials talking things over. Let's wait for the call.
There's McCardle. Shoots the ball on the outside. I don't know what they're calling. If there was a crease violation, potentially Pinnell on the crease when he went to get the ball behind.
Yeah, the turnover is going to go back to Israel. So the U.S. struck twice very quickly in this game. And we've got a timeout by Israel. The Israelis took that first shot, hanging in there, down 2 early in this quarterfinal matchup in San Diego. Team Israel down 2 goals here early to Team USA. About 8 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Good fan support here at Torero Stadium by the Israelis. Trying to take that next step. You can see this is their 3rd championship appearance, and they finished in 7th place in their previous 2. They've got 8 players back from that team in 2018 in Netanya when they hosted. And Kark, it's all about developing youth players in Israel to kind of take that next step.
Yeah, and there's a look at Jacob Silberlich, who's the director of youth lacrosse in Israel, and they're doing amazing work, Cotter, on the ground over in Israel, and with the help of Dan Kraft and his family, Bill Baroza, Mark Feinberg, and the resources that so many people are putting into Israel lacrosse. It's changing. I mean, we saw Ori Bar-David, right? With that shot earlier. He's a native Israeli. He was introduced to the game by this group years ago, and it's amazing to see. Well, Ronan Abramovich as well, another player.
Jacob Silberlich says he found Abramovich and Bar-David in PE class.
Yes.
That's so great. So good. And turned him into world-class lacrosse players. McCardle came into this game tied for the lead in terms of scoring for Team USA, along with Rob Pinnell. So his torrid start in the PLL, torrid finish to last year and start this year in the PLL continues. Plays the Water Dogs.
Every player on this roster outside of Brennan O'Neill plays in the PLL. I mean, you talk about like the dream team and the talent assembled by John Danowski, Duke head coach. 3 national champions in Durham.
It is the dream team, and like the dream team, the original dream team in basketball, the only college player was from Duke. Remember, Christian Leitner was the only college player on that team, and Brennan O'Neill, the only college player on this team. Kelly thought about taking a shot, instead gets it up top. Here's O'Neill. Look at the attention he draws from the defense, too. Sowers.
We were down at warm-ups. How big is he,
He's just crazy. To me, he and Earhart kind of stand out as 2 guys that are just massive. McCardle skips pass over to Pinnell.
He's got some room here. He's going to draw a slide.
Yeah, he's got a shorty matchup right now. He loves it.
There's the slide.
Back out to McCardle. Again, remember, no shot clock, so Team USA can be very patient here. Back to O'Neill. He says, hold up, let's get it all started again. Up top to Kelly, and here we go with Pinnell. Still got the shorty on him. Shoulder shot wide. Rambo. Hustle, keeping possession with Team USA. And if you're just new to this tournament as well, running game clock until the very end of the game. So this quarter is going to fly by because with every whistle, the game clock does not stop. Games have been running about an hour and 45 minutes.
No shot clock, but a referee can hit you with a stall warning, and then you have to keep it inside the restraining box.
Which is massive.
Massive.
Rambo. Now he's got a short stick matchup. The slide comes, leaves Kelly wide open, and Morris makes the save.
He's seeing the ball today. I was texting with his college coach, John Tillman. He said he's one of the best teammates that he possibly could have. He was a backup at the University of Maryland when they won a championship last year. Starting goalie Logan McNaney wins the title, but he was such a big piece of the overall chemistry for that team. And there's pictures of Drew as he makes that save, hoisting the Big Ten trophy championship, the first guy for the Terps. It tells you when you hand it to the backup goalie, you know he's one of you, right? He's a team guy. He's in the trenches, soaking those shots, and now he gets his moment here to start. It's a beautiful thing to see.
He's living in Israel, teaching youth lacrosse. Gets on a train and rides an hour and a half every day. Facility where he's teaching. It's amazing.
After those coaching reps, he would go on the train and go on some team Zooms, right?
Yeah.
Coach Silberlich talking some strategy.
Good pass inside. Israel gets on the board. Well, the ankle isn't feeling that bad. Nate Solomon, the leading scorer on this team from Alpharetta, Georgia.
This guy's got some game. Nate has over 125 points in his career at Syracuse, graduates in 2019. Flair for the dramatic, and that is an unbelievable shot on one ankle. Hurt yesterday against Ireland. Catches, spins, twister, all in one. Stick is an absolute extension of his body there. You can tell he's hobbled too, right? Like you can tell just the way he's moving, but
great feed by Balter, too, number 19, to find him right on the crease and a little twister finish.
And what he did so well there, as Coach loves it, he felt the pressure and started his twister shot all in one. That's just understanding defensive pressure from Nate Solomon.
Now Kadish working against T.D. Erlin. USA wins it. So Erlin getting some reps. We're late in this first quarter.
He was 14 for 14 the other night.
Yeah.
Need to go 14 for 14 against the Haudenosaunee.
Well, his numbers and Baptiste's numbers are both mirroring each other. They're both just almost unbeatable.
The one thing, if there is a collision course with Canada, Jake Withers is one of the best counter guys.
Yeah.
When he loses the faceoff, he's one of the best I've ever seen. And he's back, yes.
Inacio was taking way too many draws. So now that you have Withers back, it's a different look. Bertrand. That's a tough angle shot by McCardle, goes wide.
Yeah, Withers is one of those guys, when he faces off, when he loses the draw, he hunts the ball and he hunts the opposition to disrupt the possession win as well as anyone I've ever seen.
Under 2 minutes to go in this first quarter, 2-1 Team USA. Rambo gets a great look. Can't get anything on the shot, though, as it was disrupted by Andrew Kruder, veteran of that 2018 Israel team. Ryan Conrad whistles it wide.
If you watch Morris, he's dipping a little bit low. I wonder if the scout now will be to counter him with some high shots.
Pennell. The show no go by Israel. Back to Bertrand. Now they're harassing him. Double comes. Pennell's shot is deflected. Battle for a ground ball picked up by Israel. Cody swing the LSM now in the middle of the field. Good look. Nice catch by Robert Shane.
Robert Shane leads the team in assists. He's been their quarterback. This is a moment where you want to exhaust the time. You look at score in clock situation, 45 seconds left. Do not let the U.S. get another opportunity offensively. Last shot has to be from the guys in blue.
Yeah, what a win this could be if Israel, as I say that, they turn it over, as if they could have gotten the tying goal and be all knotted up through one.
Here comes Big Mike. This guy can hammer. His last two shots in the PLL, he took 109 and 111 miles per hour. Run for cover.
Pennell's going to get a good look. Too high, 15.7 still to go. Morris barking orders out to his defense. Rambo spins. Good look inside. McCardle tried to shovel it past Morris. Can't get it done. 6 seconds. Sowers off the top of the crossbar. A little unlucky. And the horn is going to sound to end the first quarter. Look at Max Silberlich, the head coach of Israel. And the fans here at Torero. Good start for the Israelis. Team USA broke out on top early. Michael Earhart with one of those missiles. But then the answer from Nate Solomon, the ankle's all right. 2-1 Team USA. United States leading Israel 2-1 after one. And Kark and I were talking moments ago about the development in Israel with the youth. And this is footage of the Mack Family Field at the Dan Kraft Family National Training Center in Ashkelon, Israel, Kark. This is a great facility. Look at that field. How about the fact that not only do you have two bomb shelters, this is in the Gaza Strip in the south of Israel. You have two bomb shelters nearby, but also the buildings like the weight room and everything else, they're made out of the crates that they use to shipping containers.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Weight room, offices, locker rooms. You see the shipping containers on the side there.
And that's Matthew Flapin. He poured the concrete to lay those shipping containers on, and he sawed the holes in those containers for doors and windows.
When you're part of a process and you own a process, you're so much more invested, right? Like you're building something so special here. It's the only lacrosse-only facility outside of the North America.
Correct. The first turf lacrosse field that's made just for lacrosse outside of North America. And you know, they have a saying, it's called Hitzmas Roots, devotion to the cause. And certainly, guys like Matthew Flapin exhibit such in terms of building lacrosse in Israel. They've got to figure out a way to win faceoffs. So they're right in this game, Kark. Down just a goal in the second quarter, but Team USA is perfect on all 5 faceoffs.
But Team USA is struggling to capitalize. They missed their last 10 shots of the first quarter after starting 2 for 4. A little bit of Drew Morris, a little unlucky shooting, and give some credit to Israel's defense for playing some good physical defense and flushing shooters into poorer angles.
A lot more cat and mouse in these clears, isn't it, Kark? I mean, there's no rush to get it across the midfield line, so there's it's a waiting game.
They're offside. You got 3 guys back there, 4 with the goalie.
So that's an unforced error.
Yeah,
really
that's not one you want. in a game like this, you can't have those kind of mistakes because you're at 2-1. You have potential to tie it up, and now you're dealing with this juggernaut who's getting looks, just not canning their opportunities.
Yeah, you got to play an almost perfect game, don't you, if you want to spring this upset. You know, I mentioned Herb Brooks before, but it kind of, you think back to that game. Team USA played the almost perfect game against Russia to beat them in 1980. And it's a similar. This would be a similar type of upset. That's how huge it would be if Israel were to beat Team USA today.
And these rules will favor and give Israel a shot. You know, a lot's been said about the shot clock and not having one in international play. I'm actually okay with it because it gives opportunities for the growth of lacrosse. Levels the playing field a little bit. Yeah, we're used to maybe 60 possessions in a game, and sometimes now we're only seeing 20, 25.
O'Neal running out of the midfield. Look at that. Morris makes the save, though, and then on his backside, he's able to corral it.
I'm telling you, Cotter, he is saving everything low. You watch when the U.S. shooters are trigger happy and ready to go. Drew Morris is biting low. He's gobbling up everything.
Krebsky. I thought he was going to let it rip. Instead, he settles it down.
Watch this. So O'Neal gets his hands free here. Puts it back to his left hand. And watch Morris. He's just so good low. I think U.S. will have so much more success if they try to sting Morris high.
Israel running a couple of substitutions in, including Jean-Luc Shetner. 55. Zach Paul, who led this team in goal scoring in Netanya, number 1 with the ball in his cross.
We need a lengthy possession. You know, it's probably not favorable when I say maybe we don't need a shot clock in international play, but this is a World Lacrosse Championship that I think eventually will grow, and once these teams continue to become better and better, maybe that's when you implement the shot.
Right.
You know, you got to give it some time.
You hope you saw a little bit of that this year with Jamaica, Japan, some teams that are new to the 16 teams that make the playoffs. Reardon was able to just get enough, and now it goes through. It looked like Reardon was having a hard time picking it up, Kark. He made the initial save, but the ball was just right on the goal line. The official's right on it. You can't believe it, but I guess it trickled past the line, and it's a goal for Israel. We're tied at 2 apiece.
Robert Shane has been dealing this entire tournament as a passer with his 12 assists. Oh, right in the lower left corner. Look at that. It almost looks like it's stuck in Blaze Reardon's shorts. He's looking for the ball. It's right in that lower left corner.
Like it had some English on it, Kark, spinning around and just enough inertia to get past the goal line. Blaze can't believe it.
Shane is the operator behind for Israel. He leads the tournament in assists with 12. Not known as much as a goal scorer for this offense, but he turns the corner there. Almost looked like he was shooting above goal line extended with pressure on, almost out of desperation, right? Like it looked like it was late in the quarter to get a shot off.
And he got a shove too.
Yeah, he gets a pass rear.
Erlin wins another draw. So here's Team USA going right into the sunset here in Torero Stadium at the 10-minute mark. Sowers, we've seen that move a couple of times. Connor, thought about taking the shot from distance, instead gets it back behind the cage. Shot goes wide, but Team USA backs it up to keep possession. 2-2 our score in the second. Pennell, now he's got the short stick on him.
He's getting that switch today. We've seen that a couple times where Pennell has been able to get a short.
How's he going to attack that?
Got to give him some space. He's playing in the two-man game where he gets a switch. So right now, if you pick for O'Neal and there's another switch, O'Neal gets a shorty. If not, you stay with this matchup.
Pennell, saved by Morris. Ball trickles out in front. Watch out here. Big battle for the loose ball right in front of the cage. Picked up by Rambo. And he buries it. Well, you knew how dangerous that was, and it came back to bite Israel.
Well, they missed their last 11 shots. Morris makes the stop on Pennell. You have to get it out of that crease area if you're Israel, Cotter. So critical. You cannot give U.S. any of these easy goals. Just a scoop and score for Matt Rambo. You have to clear out the crease. You'd like to see a little bit more physicality out of Israel there.
Physical with that guy,
the crease. Yeah.
I mean, that's a big body to move.
There's only two guys I know with bigger shoulders than Matt Rambo, Chris Cotter and Rich Rambo, his dad.
I had a feeling you were going to mention that. That's good company to be in, though. I'm proud of that. U.S. remains unbeaten at the faceoff dot in this game. So that may be a shot in the arm this team needs offensively, as it breaks that long streak of missed shots. And here's Rambo at X, back to McCardle.
The U.S. has had some success in the early stages of this game with the pick game, getting some switches and finding favorable matchups.
Conrad got into his left hand, now back to his right up top. Kelly over to Bertrand. McCardle, look at him with that handle, and he scores.
This is all Charlie Bertrand with the fourth goal, but the previous goal is all about Matt Rambo picking up the trash. The U.S. up by 2.
Make sure you check it out. Connecticut sun with the sun setting here on the West Coast in San Diego. Absolutely gorgeous night. Team USA, it was 2-2 moments ago. A couple of quick goals for the Americans. Have them up by a deuce. Rambo and McCardle scoring. And now back to the face-off X with Trevor Baptiste and Ian Kadish. Violation's going to go against Kadish. Now he's trying to beat the whistle.
You got to try everything when you're going against the best who's ever done it. Trevor Baptiste, 4-time first-team All-American at Denver. As a freshman, he won a national title, was the best in the game then, and has not looked back.
Understand his coach for those Denver Pioneers. Bill Tierney is here watching with his grandson, just retiring. He's got to find some way to fill his time.
Coach Tierney was Team USA head coach in 1998. They won the gold.
It's the last time they've won a gold medal in this competition on home soil. This is unbelievable. That's the second goal he scored today, Q. With a beautiful.
Don't you ever call me that again.
With a beautiful fake. I was mesmerized by the goal by Brendan O'Neill.
Look, this is the whole assortment of goals we've seen from a similar spot here. He faked the shot and did a face dodge. This time, he now plants his foot, drops a plant foot here. Beautiful pass by Michael Sowers. Gets the defense to go low with him, kicks it back high, and you have the unicorn, Brendan O'Neill. Drops a nice right plant foot and then escapes out of that dodge. So from those similar spots, we saw a face dodge in the first quarter, then more of a space isolation. So he could do so much from that one spot.
Kadish wins the draw, but he's hounded by Baptiste all the way down the field. He ends up turning it back over to Team USA.
Got a chance to run here. He got Earhart on the side here. Here's some smoke.
Earhart gets to the middle of the field, passes it up to Ryan Terefenko.
We're talking about O'Neill at 6'3", 225. I just love how hard he is to scout, right? Like his 2 goals today, similar spots on the field, totally different approaches to pressure. One was a face dodge, overextending defender, playing him as a shooter. The next one was he wanted to beat the matchup off of a good pass by Michael Sowers. So he's so smart for the youngest player on this team, too. He's one of the hardest to scout in terms of his tendencies.
You know, we were talking to Seth Tierney on the field about him, and he said, look, like a lot of coaches have said to us, he's just dominant when he gets on the field. The early camps for Team USA, he had to be on this team because he just dominated. Sowers. Kept in play by Pinnell. He'll take a shot and score! Stings a corner.
What was I telling you about the shooting location against Drew Morris? try him high. And the U.S. has stung a couple high heaters against Drew Morris, who was fantastic in the first quarter, but the onslaught of weapons in the way that they relentlessly go at you, Team USA, the Israeli national team, just does not have the matchups to defend all 6 at a time, right?
And the IQ and the experience too, Kark. You know Rob Pennell saw what you saw, that Morris was so good low, so now opting to go high and beating him in a corner.
So primarily you see the 3 attackmen, Pennell, Rambo, McCardle. Outstanding unit. Michael Sowers is playing midfield. I wouldn't mind seeing Sowers at attack too in like a 4-man rotation, and sometimes even with Sowers and Pennell behind.
Okay.
You'd have almost 2 quarterbacks.
Here's the question: who runs out of the box then at midfield? Because you just don't have a lot of players.
Yeah, McCardle could do it. I think McCardle could do it. Could take some runs. I love McCardle at attack too. I'm not saying change the starting attack, but I think a wrinkle here would be Pennell, Sowers together behind the 2-quarterback system. When you look ahead deeper into the tournament, you play maybe Canada. That puts a lot of pressure on the close defense of Canada if you're running this guy right here and Sowers.
Especially with Schreiber not playing, you know?
Yep.
It's kind of like...
Great point.
You could put Kelly, Bertrand, and Conrad on the midfield spot if you wanted to your point, run a few sets with Sowers at X.
That's just a hammer. It's like, I don't know how you defend this guy. 24 in white, Brennan O'Neill. Like we said, we saw him in warm-ups too. He just looks different, right? The way he shoots, the way that he carries his body, how thick he is.
Here's Sowers inverted. Morris is able to make the save. Rebound, he makes another save.
Gotta get this out.
Look at the hustle by Morris trying to get possession. Can't. It's Team USA. Sowers wanted a call. Instead, it's going to go the other way. He's going to be called for in the crease.
Sowers wanted a push. Israel needed that desperately because you cannot give the U.S. opportunity after opportunity when your goalie is standing on his head like this. Drew Morris has been fantastic. Look at those back-to-back saves. His former college coach, John Tillman from the University of Maryland's watching and smiling, seeing his old keeper get an opportunity to start this game and shine.
6 saves for Morris for Coach Max Silberlich. There you see Joe Amplo in the huddle with the red hat. Assistant for John Danowski on Team USA. This team has won all there is to win in international competition, Kark. 2 championships ago in 2014, Canada beat them. They exacted a little revenge in Netanya back in 2018, and boy, don't you think the Canadians, the way that game ended, want some revenge themselves this time around?
Last 4 times
on U.S.
out.
soil? Oh, yeah.
Last 4 times out, clean split 2-2. And the 1-goal games have become the norm.
Canada made really quick work earlier today of the Jamaicans. That game was over about 5 minutes in. This game has been nothing like that. It was 2-2 moments ago. Team USA finally starting to find their target, if you will, in beating Morris.
It's Michael Sowers. Quickest feet in the field. Did you see him the other night? That move? He had like these firecracker feet, man. You just can't match the quickness.
The feet, and then the head fake, the multi-sport head fake to the left. No chance to defend.
You know, our producer, Tim Sullivan's a big hoop guy. That'd be like trying to defend Allen Iverson back in the day, right?
Yeah.
With that crossover.
I'm going to go even deeper. I'm going to say Tiny Archibald. I'm going to show you my age. I'm going to go even deeper than that.
Tough as nails, too, Sowers. We watch him through the college years at the university, or Princeton University, and then Duke University for his 5th year. But he was just so good the moment he stepped on the college lacrosse field, owning one-on-one matchups.
Israel just 2 for 3 shooting, only 3 shots, Kark. Team USA 6 for 24.
Ooh, this is a costly
one.
Over and back. That's a costly turnover.
They've had a couple of them that really hurt. Off a timeout to give the ball back to Team USA.
Oh, boy.
Watch out here. Earhart already has one tonight. Connor Kelly, full head of steam. Watch this shot. Scores!
A couple weeks ago in the PLL, Connor Kelly for the Water Dogs, defending champs, had 3 two-pointers and absolutely dominated the late stages of a huge victory. And right here, this is perfect mechanics on display. Drew Morris thinks he's going high because Connor Kelly right there has time and room. And he has his stick high. You almost see Drew Morris like freezes, thinking he's going to get some high heat. Where does Kelly shoot?
5-hole.
Yep.
Skips it right off the turf into the back of the net. Our Sunday night baseball matchup, Giants finishing up a 6-game East Coast road trip, and the Mets at Citi Field, 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock Eastern with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown.
Aren't you a Met fan?
Well, I used to work in the Mets organization.
I didn't ask you who you worked for. I asked you, were you a Met fan?
I used to work in the Mets organization.
I'm a Yankee fan.
It's not a fun place to work right now, I can tell you that. There are a lot of Mets fans and looking for answers. Huge payroll. You know, the amount of money per win that the Mets are spending, it ain't good. Meanwhile, their nemesis in Atlanta just continues to roll along. Maybe they'll turn things around Sunday night. I have to tune into ESPN to find out.
You got to have a payroll like the Pirates, right?
Silverlick continues. I keep saying it. He looks like the gangster in American Hustle. I haven't gotten very many positive nods on that. He seemed to think it was all right.
I mean, that mustache is
gold.
Epic. Yeah, that's
Brilliant.
That is a person right there. You look at that, like, it just says, I am commanding the moment, right? Like, the moment is mine. Look at that. I mean, this guy is confident, right? With that mustache, he's ready for business.
So much fun talking with him earlier today and last night after the win over Ireland. He wanted to make sure he started today in the starting lineup. He had Ronan Abramovich and Ori Bar-David, the 2 Israeli natives. Wanted to make sure they were in the starting lineup tonight.
It is a tough team, too. We saw their facility with cargo storage units as the weight room, and they use the term bash, right? Like they're gonna bash through the moment and use toughness.
Biachad, which is togetherness. That's the B in the acronym BASH. They're going to need a lot of that today because Team USA is now picking up the pace. That's 2 straight. Connor Kelly. That was too easy, Kark.
When you think of great shooters, Cotter, you think of variation in terms of how they approach a goaltender when they're staring a goalie down. The last shot from Connor Kelly was on the other side of the offensive set, but it was the same exact release point. And where did he shoot the prior shot?
Low on the first one.
Low on that one. So then the goalie, Drew Morris, is starting to think, okay, Kelly from that same release point, he just shot low. Maybe I'll start hedging a little bit and try to track that low shot. Where does he sting this one?
High.
High.
And it's a 6-0 run for Team USA. Drew Morris contemplating, how am I going to stop this onslaught?
He's done an amazing job as Coach Silverlick brings in the troops. The issue, though, for the U.S., it's not like they weren't getting opportunities. They went 11 straight shots without finding the back of the net. So once they started to hone in their shooting, one or two things was going to happen. Drew Morris is going to continue to stand on his head and just steal shot after shot, or the U.S. was going to start finding out how to solve this puzzle. It's the latter.
Well, they missed 13 shots in a row, Clark. Since that run, they've connected on 5 of 9. So they've clearly found the answer.
It's a 6-0 run for the red, white, and blue. We're seeing a little bit of varied offense, too. A lot of their scoring, though, what I'm seeing, though, is from above the cage. Even Pinnell, who operates from behind, everything is goal line extended and above. O'Neal, Kelly, 2 goals apiece. Earhart in transition. You're not seeing a lot of offense initiated in this game from behind the cage. It's everything out in front.
How much do you think they're trying to keep a little bit under the vest, not show too much, knowing what could potentially be on the horizon with Australia in the semifinals tomorrow, and then especially if they get by the Aussies, Canada in the championship game on Saturday.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little torn with that question, and the reason being is I don't think the offense has really found their groove, and you don't have too many more opportunities before a potential gold medal matchup.
Kelly is just finding it. Sowers is finding him, and Kelly is finding the back of the net.
If you want to teach coaching, or if you want to coach and teach shooting, what you need to do is watch the last 5 minutes from Connor Kelly. And I say that because we've seen a variety of release points. We've seen a variety of shot location. This is the first time this game we've seen the head of his stick dip below his shoulders. So he is perfectly playing with Drew Morris, the goalie here. That shot location is wicked. It's catch and release all in one from a totally different release point than his prior 2 goals. And a lot of people think Connor Kelly's a top 3 to 5 shooter in the world. I would confirm he is.
Wow.
You watch his play in the PLL over the last couple of years, his 2-point threat ability. But he's just a guy who stretches a defense. And I think that he understands how to solve a goalie at the last second before he shoots as well as anyone.
Israel trying with Brian Rotatori. Ball dislodged from Baptiste. Morris is going to have to let it heave. Final 2 seconds of this first half, and the horn sounds. It was 2-2 seemingly just moments ago, and we had a nail biter. Israel was hanging in there. Team USA turned it up a notch on a 7-goal run. I mentioned Robert Shane and company had it going. Morris was outstanding in goal. Just too much of that man. Too much Connor Kelly as well. 9-2. Team USA on top of the half. You're watching the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship presented by Rady Children's Hospital. Torero Stadium, University of San Diego, 9-2 our score. United States, the defending champions, with the lead over Israel. Our third and final quarterfinal game of the day. In the earlier 3 games, Canada dispatched of Jamaica in quick fashion in their game. They'll play once again the Haudenosaunee, who doubled up Japan. Australia doubled up England. They await the winner of our game in the nightcap tomorrow. So first, Haudenosaunee in Canada, and Kark and I are going to talk a lot more about that game throughout the second half of this game, because that one promises to be a good one. And then Australia and the winner here. And if Connor Kelly has anything to say about it, it's going to be Team USA.
Yeah, no one's going to want to see this guy shooting the rock. 3 goals all late in that second quarter. He was high to low, high to high, and then this sidearm snap to the opposite pipe. Just beautiful shooting display by Connor Kelly, former Maryland great, one of the best shooters in the world. But that Haudenosaunee Canada game is going to be epic.
Yeah.
1-goal game earlier on in the tournament. I think the Haudenosaunee are clicking chemistry-wise.
I agree. I feel like they're playing
different
better than I've seen them play in recent years.
We've seen the star power in the past, but I think the chemistry of this team is on.
I totally agree with you in that assessment. The coaching is, it's kind of everything is together. The glue on that team seems like it's been better than it's been. And we know the talent is there. That could be an epic game tomorrow. Snapdragon. Canada Haudenosaunee. Team USA 1/2 away from joining them in the semifinals. Earhart will take another shot, gets it inside. That one just wide.
U.S. was figuring out Drew Morris and this Israel defense. On the other side, though, Israel's an offense that was really clicking coming into today. Prior to this game, least amount of shots they had in a game, 26 against the Philippines. They only had 3 shots in the first half.
2 of them goals, and one of those goals was one that Reardon almost saved. It just trickled behind him.
This defense for the U.S. has been strangling opponents.
O'Neal slide comes, now gets it back up to Sowers. Sowers gets a short stick. When he runs out of the midfield, he gets a short stick. Look at him shaking and baking. Back up to O'Neal.
Sowers with those feet, Cotter, can beat any defender. No one can match the quickness of him. It's just a matter of getting into his body and disrupting his line in terms of how he wants to dodge, because right here he has space. Watch his feet here.
O'Neal thought about ripping. Back to Kelly. U.S. can be patient here. 7-goal lead, no shot clock.
He's got a shorty here. This is the matchup you want if you're the U.S.
And Rotatori is on him.
Yeah, this is the matchup they're going to stick. I want to see some Sowers feet here.
Cornell slides. Sowers takes the shot. Scores.
Just so quick. And then when the slide doesn't come, it creates space for a nice plant and rip shot here. So they use the pick, and the switch is really late. That's a bouncer. At first, I thought it was just a high rip to that near pipe, but he bounces the ball opposite side of the lefty goalie, Morris. But you saw the pick there, and Israel could have done one of two things: fight through it and keep the matchup, or switch. And it's almost like they did neither, right? The switch was so late that Sowers had no one on his hands.
Yeah. Gut check time for Israel. 10-2 early going in this third quarter. Baptiste wins another draw.
Israel's won one face-off this entire game.
It's just a recipe for, with no shot clock, it's a recipe for never having the ball. Here we go again. Sowers out of the box with Bertrand up top. Got Ryan Conrad on the far side. Number 15 with the ball, now back to Bertrand. Defender just bounces off Bertrand. He shoots just wide. You know, Bertrand would have fired that had he caught it. Chases it down now. Picks up the ground ball.
He's a big, thick body, too.
It's redwoods when you're down there. I mean, it's ridiculous, the size, physicality of this Team USA team.
And when they roll a smaller guy out, he's the quickest guy in the lacrosse world.
That is heat from Ryan Conrad. So now others get involved in the party cart.
Conrad, an exceptional two-way midfielder. Talk about a jack of all trades. 15 in white is one. You know what he did on that play that I thought was fantastic? He caught it righty and he switched to his left hand, because that's where the defensive pressure was coming. If he shot that ball righty where he caught it, he would have had to shoot through a defensive stick and pressure. He catches it and in one motion switches to his left hand, which gives him all the space in the world.
Ian Burns initially picked up the face-off, was right back to Baptiste. Regains possession. Jacob Silverlicht is all over him. Got a flag down. This is going to be, well, let's see. Thought it was going to be a delayed call against Israel, but they blew the whistle. Slash against Israel, offside, that's why they blew the whistle, against Team USA. So it'll be 5-on-5 for 30 seconds.
And then an additional 30 seconds extra for Team USA.
Right. So there's Robert Shane. We'll sit for a minute for the slash.
I think the U.S. bench wants to know there's an issue here because the technical and the personal foul. So how's there a slash if there's the offsides, right? You following me?
I thought the slash was first, and then Team USA went offside in the delayed penalty.
So if the slash was first, that means when Baptiste went over, they were offsides. It's hard because if the U.S. was offsides, it would have been a possession for Israel, or else it would just been a...
If they were offside, what you're saying first, if they were offside...
When did they have the ball, though?
It would have already been...
It's not a penalty if you're offsides unless the other team has the ball.
No,
so
where
did Israel have the ball?
They never had possession.
That's my question. Baptiste was slashed with the ball. You following me?
Yeah, okay, now I am. We'll get another call here. This one's going to go against U.S.
Because time served for offsides and technicals.
Okay, this is going to go against Israel.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm feeling you on that.
Yeah, time served for technicals are only when the other team has the ball.
Well, now it's a 6-on-4 because we have another minute penalty against Israel, and that's just a recipe right there for success for Team USA and a disaster for Israel. 6-on-4, forget it.
The U.S. extra man is one area I think they could click a little bit better. Coming into today's game, only 21% on the man up. This is a unit with some of the best offensive players in the world. You want to see them well over 35%. They have the potential to do so. Ball spins. Connor Kelly's been the hot hand shooting the rock. O'Neal with just the one more. Look, when you have extra man and you have guys like Rambo on the low post and O'Neal up top, you're going to find those 2-on-1s everywhere.
Israel still one man down. So the man up continues. Now we're even strength. And Team USA with their largest lead of the night, 10 goals.
And one good thing with the U.S. too, with these shooters and the way they've clicked offensively, we've seen 9 different goal scorers in this game.
Purnell had one of those goals too high.
Depth of scoring, like every offensive guy, you know, you have your starting attack and your 6 offensive midfielders. They have all scored goals today.
Everyone's eating tonight for Team USA. Israel trying to hang in there. Stars and Stripes by 10 in the third. Here it is, the next UFC event from the Apex in Vegas, baby. Our middleweight main event. Prelims begin Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern, followed by the main card at 7 on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus.
You're not going to say his name? Magomedov.
Good call.
Magomedov.
Very good. Yeah, you've been working on your Russian. I think he's Russian.
Love UFC. Love it. My brothers are lunatics.
They are. I saw PFL, Professional Fighter League event last week in Atlanta. That's sick. I mean, that was really a lot of fun. And I'm not really that into it. This has not been fun for Drew Morris because it has been a shooting gallery here in the second half. And once again, Michael Sowers inside all alone. And Morris had no shot.
Here's what you need to know about the shooting gallery, what's taking place. When it was 2-2, since then, the U.S. have outshot Israel 21-0. They are just putting so much pressure on Drew Morris. And Michael Sowers, when he catches that too, the little subtlety with the stick movement to get away from the defensive pressure and then to shoot low on Morris, who's standing tall on the pipes. He's done everything he could. But they have not had a shot since 2-2.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
USA has gone on a 10-0 run since the last shot in the game by Israel. It's nuts.
Yeah, this USA defense, when you look at the pieces, Jesse Bernhardt, JT Giles-Harris, Jack Rowlett, Matt Dunn, they are so in sync. I think it is the best unit defensively, hands down, in this tournament. Jesse Bernhardt, congrats to him. Father as of yesterday.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Okay, congratulations. He in his 3rd World Championships.
Jace James, born yesterday. That'll be a story one day.
No, he's poised to be an 8 sports star.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Bertrand, you can just see the size differential, 41.
Yeah,
look how tough he is to move off his line. Pinnell. Bertrand behind the back scores.
Money. You hear the little ding. This is a fabulous shot by the former Merrimack star, Charlie Bertrand. And this is an assist for the ages, and I'll tell you why. Wow, that's .67 in international play by Rob Pinnell, who gets the assist, tying Mark Millen for the most points ever by someone wearing the Stars and Stripes in international play. And he ties it with a pass to Bertrand, who catches that and rips it BTB. That's the perfect time to shoot behind the back. You're a lefty, you're losing your angle. Just hit it backhand.
The most amazing thing about that shot is T.D. Earlin now taking the draws and winning them for Team USA. I thought was the pace on that shot. With those with those goals too, with those nets. I mean, ripped it.
I love the goals though. These days you can get the actual ding.
Helps me immensely. New goalie in net, by the way, for Team USA. Jack Kelly getting some reps.
Started in this tournament as well. They've played equal up until now.
Yep, Kelly, a veteran. Team USA. Sowers again. Look at that move. It's become patented. Now help comes, gets inside of McCardle. Morris has to make the save. McCardle tried to bat it out of the air. Run down by Pinnell. Tiptoes the end line, stays in bounds. Now you got to watch out here. Quick ball movement by Team USA. McCardle still was able to get in front of the crease. Wasn't able to catch it, though, and Sowers gives chase. O'Neal. Little haphazard play, but now Team USA will settle in as the field is severely tilted toward this half. I don't know if we've been on the other half for the entire second half of this game so far. Kelly spins to his left. Tracked down by Rambo.
The spatial awareness of 40 and white, Connor Kelly, like how he sets up his shot. And then he gives himself an extra beat right before that quick release of understanding where the goalie is and where he wants to put it. As good of a shooter as you'll find.
Morris takes that one right in the midsection. Quickly outlets. Look at the hustle by Kelly. Sticks on the ground.
I think they called a hold.
I think it's going to be a procedure against Israel.
Israel had the ball.
They wanted a timeout. Maybe they'll give it to him. Yeah, I think they're going to give him the timeout.
I thought maybe they held JT Giles-Harris' stick. It's going to be a change of possession.
Matthew Popek seems to be shaken up a little bit. 14 in blue. He was the one who lost his stick. Young man from Olden, Maryland.
Bertrand gives it to O'Neal. Here's a little bit of history. This is the tying point by Rob Pinnell. And a beauty of a backhand by Charlie Bertrand. Almost like a no-look backhand, right? You understand where you are in terms of your location out in front of the goal. Pinnell has been such a Huge ambassador of the game, too. What he's done as a player, winning the Tewaaraton in 2013 at Cornell, one of the highest scorers in NCAA lacrosse history. And then on the international front, Cotter, you mentioned his third go-around World Championships. And now ties Mark Millen, one of the greatest attackers of all time. Mark Millen played in the World Championships in 94, which were over in England, and then 98 in Baltimore. Mark Millen known for the explosive first step, a lethal dodger. There's Rob. Rob's such a great person, too. I've gotten to know him pretty well over the years, and he's bright, he's giving of his time, and always pushing the sport forward. I think he's had some great teaching techniques that he's shared over the years, you know, through YouTube and various apps in terms of the attack position. Really understands the next level of how a quarterback should play.
After the turnover, Israel calls a timeout. They have possession.
That's twice they've called a timeout, and right away
throw it right over the teammate's head.
That's tough. As a coach, you call a timeout, you draw something up, and then boom, turn it over.
Something else about Rob Pennell, the way he keeps himself in shape. He might play another World Championship.
Yeah, he gets after it in the weight room. Gets after it. But I mean, when you think of all the greats who've worn the red, white, and blue, and who've had multiple go-arounds at World Championships, to be the highest scorer ever in international play, along with Mark Millen, and hopefully for the U.S., they have 2 games left. He's going to be standing alone.
Cardle goes low. Morris, as he really has done all game long, fantastic with the ball on the ground.
That's actually a goalie change. That's Eric Schneider now.
Schneider now, you're right, 16 and for blue.
Who was the starter last time in Netanya in 2018.
Shane was trying to get a replay of that goal he scored in the first half.
Remember I mentioned Conrad plays both ends?
Here he is.
Yep.
Good look to McCardle. That's a beautiful pass.
Record. Stand alone. On top. There you have it. The all-time leading scorer in international lacrosse history for Team USA is the great Rob Pennell. Off a nice fast break in transition that starts on the other end with Ryan Conrad. Kicks it to Kieran McCardle. And money in the bank. Called it before he shot it, Cotter.
He scored enough to know when they're going to go into the back of the net. And Team USA continues to surge. We had a 2-2 game in the second quarter, early in the second quarter, and it has been all stars and stripes ever since. This is a big reason why they've won all but one of the face-offs tonight. McCardle, easy. Doesn't get it on target, though, and he's kicking himself.
You love the fluidity, though, of that break, right? Baptiste gives it to Pennell last second. McCardle, who could have stayed low left pipe, came up, and Pennell just one time that pass.
That's a shot that flicks off a defender. Rambo one-handed. Snyder is there.
Snyder's feeling it a
little
bit.
Horn sounds to end the third quarter. History made tonight for Rob Pennell. First the assist. Finds Bertrand on a beautiful BTB. Stings the top corner. Here's the goal that put him atop all by himself. All-time leading scorer in Team USA history. Casa Guadalajara has been voted the best Mexican restaurant in Old Town San Diego. It's popular for its festive decor, vibrant colors, trumpeting mariachis, fresh-made tortillas, and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Yes, please.
Let's
I want
go.
you in my belly.
Let's go. We have 1 quarter left here, and it's right down the hill from us here at USD. We are on our way.
I should make you pay for calling me Quint earlier. Like, take me out, right? Like, it's the least you could do.
It's the worst. I owe you at least a couple of margaritas after that faux pas. Final quarter, final game of the night. Team USA in complete control. Big reason is the face-off dot. 20 of 21 face-offs won by the Americans. And Baptiste takes a shot. Schneider with the save.
Now, being silly and critical, I would probably face off Baptiste a little bit less. I feel like he's taken a lot of the draws, right?
So you think with an eye toward Australia tomorrow, a lot of games in a lot of days. A lot of games in a lot of days.
Yeah, I feel like he's had a heavy volume tonight. And Erlen is a terrific face-off guy, too.
And they're going to need both of them, both tomorrow against the Aussies. And
probably
then presumably
being too picky. Probably being too picky, Connor.
In the championship game, well, nitpicking a little bit, which is okay.
How about tomorrow, though? The Haudenosaunee, Canada. That game is going to be awesome.
Q and Anish will be on the call that game. That's the first of our semifinal doubleheaders.
I'm calling that one, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You don't know my name anymore.
You got roped into that. You were a late ad on that one, weren't you? I thought you were going to have the afternoon off. No, sir. Yeah, I'll be at La Jolla, enjoying a little sunshine, a little sand and surf. Pings off the side of the net.
If we were in L.A., you'd be at
picked up by
Muscle
Griffin
Beach in
Skolansky.
Venice, eating a creatine bar
spots.
or something. There's Krefsky. He'll be a future star for this Israeli national team, who's continuing to make great strides as Ori Bar David with the ball, one of the 2 native players who, like you said, was picked up in gym class years ago.
Currently
introduced to the sport.
By the way, currently serving in the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. Currently serving.
It's incredible. We had a great conversation with Coach Silverlek, and his brother Jacob was on the call too, who runs the youth program in Israel. And he said he finds a certain type of a player. A lot of times they're in underprivileged areas, right? Who use lacrosse as an outlet, an escape. And really just are so gracious for the opportunity too. And that's what fuels Jacob and guys like Drew Morris to coach these type of players, because they have a fire in their belly and they give everything when they hit the field.
The goal is to have a doubling of the number of native Israelis every world championship. So they had 1 in 2014 as Matt Balter stings a corner for Israel's 3rd goal. They had 1 in 2014. They had 1 in 2018. They have 2 this year, and they hope to have 4 in the next World Championships.
Balter hammers this shot. Krevsky with a terrific pass, and Balter's one of the guys on the extra man. Israel had the top scoring extra man unit in the tournament coming into today with 12 goals, and Balter was a big reason for that, with a slew of extra man opportunity goals from that very spot.
Yeah, 12 of their 44 goals in the tournament coming in were man up.
Tops in the entire field. Jacob Silverlek is on the wing right now. You see the long locks, 7 in blue. See him enter the screen. There he is, playing long stick midi, getting into the hole.
He was playing pro lacrosse and surfing in Australia when he got the call. We need you to come to Israel, help build the sport. He's been there now 10 years.
Him and his brother. Head coach, both played their collegiate ball at Hobart.
He's from central New York, I believe, to the Oneonta area. Here's Kelly in a big first half, 3 goals in about a minute and a half that really broke this game wide open.
Nice check.
Beautiful check. Carl trying to keep possession. Both teams fighting for it. It'll stay with Team USA. Ricardo wisely settles it down a little bit, gets it near side the Pinnell. Clock ticking inside of 10 minutes, Cart.
Cody's swing is able to take that ball, 33 in blue from Ricardo. Terrific check.
Try to feed it inside. Bertrand now up top, over to Pinnell. Ricardo now at X. Going to be checked by the short stick D Mitty, so he's going to come upfield. Just get past Kelly. Time and room, and another goal.
This guy can shoot.
Woo.
If you don't get out on Connor Kelly, it is night-night time. This guy just absolutely hammers shots. Look at the subtle two or three steps that he takes into middle of the field. Snyder has no shot, like no shot whatsoever. Right-handed goalie, stick side high, absolute heat, traveling close to 100 miles an hour. And you know what all great shooters do in basketball and lacrosse? Subtle 1, 2, 3 steps towards the middle of the field. You know, like a three-point shooter in basketball, right? Their anticipation in the ball rotation when they know they want to find space. It's
almost before they catch it, the little jab.
Yes.
Little jab step.
Yeah, it's 1 or 2 steps. That's all you need. So what are you looking forward to most tomorrow when you think of these semifinal matchups? U.S., Australia, Haudenosaunee, Canada. Haudenosaunee, Canada, Austin stats. That guy is...
He's a one-man wrecking machine because he's so physical around the crease.
He is
like
a battering ram with elite stick skills. One of the top scorers in the tournament. I mean, when you put him on that left side, it's like... It is a physical altercation.
Here we go again with Sowers. Look how much room Conrad has. Yeah, you're not going to stop that. Way too much room to step down and shoot for number 15.
Ryan Conrad, couple beautiful shots in this game. You're watching Connor Kelly and a slew of other middies come to the party, Ryan.
'23 World Lacrosse Men's Championship sponsored by Rady Children's Hospital, the largest children's hospital on the West Coast, ranked among the 10 best children's hospitals in the nation. Fans here, some light jackets, sweatshirts. Gets a little chilly when the sun goes down here right off the ocean. The sea breeze coming in. Team USA shooters have been red hot though. Turned a 2-2 game in the second quarter into a 17-3 lead. Connor Kelly has been Connor Kelly's been a big reason for that.
Yeah, that's a Terp-to-Terp connection. Matt Rambo to Connor Kelly. Shot high to low. This one just some pure heat, high to high. Michael Sowers' first step draws a slide. Connor Kelly with the swooping righty sidearm hammer, and then this one just paints a corner. Connor Kelly, 4 goals. Israel, 4 shots.
It's crazy.
That's nuts.
The way this defense is played, the way Baptiste and Erlin have played at the face-off X, but Baptiste, or Erlin rather, looked like he was going to squeeze that one. Look at the hustle, though, by Earhart. Picked up by Israel, though.
It's like a swooping bird, right? Just it comes in there.
Pterodactyl bird.
Yes.
Nice move by Spolansky.
Spolansky played his college ball at the University of Virginia. Won a national title. One of his teammates, Ryan Conrad. Spolansky's spending his time right now creating his own protein bars.
Is that so?
Yes.
You have a conversation with him. What a few trials. (17-3) our score here. Don't forget WNBA Sun and Aces Saturday, 3 o'clock on ABC.
You know, the one missing piece that you hope to see return is Tom Schreiber if you're the U.S. Played in the first game's been injured, and saw him warming up, shooting the ball. He looked good in warm-ups.
Defender fell down. Kelly wanted another one. Schneider with the foot save, kick save, and a beauty.
Eric Schneider was a starter in 2018 in Netanya. Played his collegiate ball at Johns Hopkins. Comes from a family of goalies. Brother Doc, great goalie at UMass, took the Minutemen to the national championship in 2006.
Rob Pennell, a record-setting night for number 3 in white. Tried to get it to Kelly. Kept in the offensive end, but Kelly wasn't able to corral it. Here we go the other way with Israel. Shane coming upfield, gets knocked off his line. Looking at the official for a call. Now we get a whistle. Timeout. Yeah, timeout Israel. There you see Coach Silverlick still trying to keep his team up.
Yeah, you never change your identity. You never change your approach. I really enjoyed our conversation with him today.
Got a lesson in Hebrew from him as well. Yala Kadima. That's kind of the rally cry. Let's go forward. I'm sure they're still yelling it right now because a lot to be proud of as the program continues to get better and better every championship. Take a look at our brackets. USA 4 minutes and 47 seconds away from advancing to take on Australia. That's the later game tomorrow night on ESPN2. Haudenosaunee and Canada. That's the early game, 8 o'clock. And Q sent us the early lines, the Vegas lines. Canada, a 2-goal favorite in that game with Haudenosaunee. Team USA, 11-goal favorite against Australia.
Interesting. Australia's been playing really good defense in the tournament. Canada, the firepower is nuts. When you think of just their left-handers, right? You have Josh Byrne, one of the silkiest, smoothest players in the world.
Right.
Connor Fields, a tremendous dodger, right? Like, he's so slippery when he has the ball. And then Jeff Teat, who operates in slow motion and sees the field as well as any superstar playing. So you have those lefties, and then you counter with some righties like Dane Smith and Curtis Dixon. This is a dangerous, dangerous team.
John Paul came in the booth here moments ago. We were chatting with him, former Michigan head coach. He said in terms of defending a guy like Michael Sowers out of the midfield, he said Kyle Jackson's the only guy in this entire tournament that can do it.
And he plays midfield for the Haudenosaunee. They'd have to beat Canada for that to happen.
So it'd be interesting to see if, and that's, even I talked about it, the way the Haudenosaunee are playing in this tournament, that's a real possibility.
And props to John Paul, too. He coached at Michigan. He spent so many years, trips after trips. He told me today maybe 20 times went to Japan and helped grow the game there. And when you watch the Japanese in this tournament, it's remarkable what they've done. Every player is native Japanese, right? It's not like a team that's made up of a lot of Americans with Japanese roots, right? Like a lot of these teams, there's a lot of American college players playing for Israel, and that's the case for so many of these nations. Japan does it with all players native to their country. And the craziest thing when I was talking to John Paul about it today is the majority, almost all of them, don't pick up a stick until they go to university, until college.
That's crazy. That's nuts. I mean, it's absolutely nuts. It's antithetical to what you would think would be the way to build a lacrosse, nation.
Now, hopefully that changes. He said the biggest issue is field space. The universities have some field space. So for the youth to start, as you see Brennan O'Neill once again.
The entire repertoire we've seen tonight.
But you know what I'm saying? For the youth to really be able to explode in Japan as well, it's the field space issue. But these players go to university. But he did say once they start playing, they are all in.
Yeah,
like they are all in.
They certainly were all in when the PLL visited in February.
Brennan O'Neill playing some attack, his natural spot. Michael Sowers is at attack, his natural spot. So basically this U.S. team, they have 5 natural attackmen. 2 of them are playing midfield, Sowers and O'Neill, for this tournament. But Sowers and O'Neill were actually teammates at Duke in 2021. Tells you how much talent that offense had. Sowers with the ball right now. Spent his first 4 years at Princeton, and then 2020, COVID cancels the season, uses his 5th year at Duke, plays for John Danowski, who's won 3 national titles at Duke, 2010, 13, and 14.
Put up ridiculous numbers in his entire college career. Our superstar in the PLL, champion Water Dogs. Ooh, man,
heads up. O'Neill had a duck for that.
I mean, that dented the end boards. Watch this one coming just up.
Still don't know how anyone would ever jump in the goal and play this crazy position. The lack of padding.
Right, you want to wear, they wear less padding than you could. You could wear a lot more, but it's too cumbersome. They can't move, so chest protector, that's it.
Chest protector, glove, helmet, cup, that's it.
Throat guard on the helmet, that's required.
Ball as hard as a rock, traveling 100 miles an hour. Like, you honestly are crazy to jump.
Yeah, well, he was the craziest person you know in real life. Quintesnik, perfect.
Yeah. My brother Brian, another lunatic.
Yes, yes, another total psycho. Ryan Conrad with the goal.
Yeah, here's Ryan Conrad. Ryan Conrad's done a lot of nice things offensively. Wow. Okay, righty goalie paints that upper left-hand corner with some absolute high heat. The step-down shooting of the U.S. has been very impressive when they have time and room. Like the ball rotation, the selflessness. There's been so many assisted goals in this game.
And
there has not been a lot of one-on-one.
Didn't start off very well. When you think about the way they shot in the first half,
they were getting their looks.
And a half.
It's just a matter of finding their groove in their shooting stroke. But the majority of their goals are assisted. It's a quick dodge into 1 pass, 2 pass, step down. That's been the theme of this game. And that's when you're embracing a selfless mindset to offensive lacrosse. Is Dodger creates the initial slide. It's not 1 pass, 2 passes to the shooter. Because the second pass typically takes advantage of a defense that's spiraling out of control, that's trying to play catch up, right? Off the slide rotations.
Jackson Apelt and Team Israel trying to get one more before the final horn sounds here at San Diego. Kelly sees it all the way, runs out the final seconds, and this one is in the books.
Well, they kept it interesting, Team Israel, for the first quarter when it was 2-2. But the shooters found their stroke, and the U.S. advances to play Australia. Tomorrow's semifinal matchup, Haudenosaunee. Well, they'll play Canada in a much-anticipated matchup. San Diego's bringing the heat, the World Championships. We'll be back in a couple moments.
Haudenosaunee taking on Canada, 8 o'clock on ESPN2. One of the things you talked about earlier when you were asking me what I was looking forward to most in that Canada-Haudenosaunee game, Zed Williams. I mean, the job he has done in this tournament with a long pole in his hand. Sometimes they have him go in there and play some attack, come out of the box. He does everything for him.
Yes, you know, at first when I saw that, I'm like, why would you put one of the best offensive players in the world on defense? And then when I saw him defend Matt Rambo, his teammate for the PLL Whipsnakes, that 1-2 punch, he did amazing.
Yeah, he's been amazing. He's just, you know what he is? He's like, sometimes you'll cover a college football team and they'll describe one of their players as a football player. Like, he just plays football. We'll put him all over the field and he can play football. That's exactly what Zed Williams is in the lacrosse world. He's just a lacrosse player. You can put him anywhere. You could probably put him in goal and he'd be a heck of a goalie.
But to me, you know, it was most telling about that too. We talk about the chemistry of the Haudenosaunee. A selfless move like that tells you what you need to know about this team.
Where they are, right, as a team.
Exactly.
And how they are in terms of being together. And they appear to be in a great spot to be able to spring the upset over Team Canada. It would only be a mild upset, to be honest with you, in that first semifinal game tomorrow on ESPN2.
I think we might get Rob Pennell here, the most prolific scorer in USA lacrosse history in international play.
Rob's putting the headset on right now. Can you hear us, Rob?
How you doing?
Hey, Rob, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Hey, Rob, I have to ask you, before you ever suited up for the Stars and Stripes, if someone told you that you would be the all-time leading point scorer in U.S. lacrosse international play, what would your reaction have been?
I would have told them they were crazy. You know, it's obviously a very cool accomplishment. I think it just means that I've been playing a long time, and I've been fortunate enough to be on some great teams and play with some great players.
Rob, a little bit of a slow start for you guys in terms of finding the back of the net. You had your opportunities, but you couldn't bury them. And then in the second quarter, something clicked. What happened?
You know, I think we started out 2-0, and you know, we went away from what got us to 2-0, and after the first quarter, we kind of checked ourselves a bit and said, all right, let's get back to playing team offense, moving the ball, sharing the ball, and shooting good shots. And you know, it's always been about focusing on ourselves and what we need to do and to get the best shot available, not necessarily the first shot. You know, we're preparing for a game in a few days and making sure that we're doing the things to make sure that, you know, we're playing our best lacrosse.
You know, Rob, when I watch you tonight and I sit back and see you break the record, I'm so proud of you, and I've watched you for so long. And one of the things I'm so impressed with, your ability to kind of morph into different roles. And I've seen you as a passer, I've seen you as a shooter and a dodger. Where are you best suited for this offense, in your estimation?
You know, whatever's needed of me. I think I'm needed to be the voice out there to make sure we're getting guys in the right spots and everyone's on the same page and in the same offense and evaluating, you know, what offense we're in, who's covering who, where we want to dodge from. So, you know, I'm traditionally that quarterback behind the goal, but wherever I am in this offense, whether that's, you know, behind on the right side, inside, you know, depending on the offense we're in, my most important role for me is to be communicating to everybody making sure we're on the same page. And if that needs me in different spots, that's all good. You know, I'm here to win a gold medal, and you know, that's the most important. Not about me being behind the goal and doing what I do best for my career. It's about me doing what this team needs in order for us to be successful.
Well, one step closer, Rob. Appreciate your time. We'll see you tomorrow night in the semis.
Appreciate it. Looking forward
Proud
to it,
of you,
guys.
Rob.
Thanks as always. Thanks,
Rob
Clark.
Pennell, all-time leading scorer in Team USA history. He and his teammates got the job done tonight in impressive fashion. Now it's the Aussies, a team they beat in pool play, awaiting them in the semis.
The Aussies have the defense, but the U.S., well, they found some offense today in San Diego on a beautiful night. A lot of Brendan O'Neill, a lot of Connor Kelly, and a record-setting performance by Rob Pennell.
Canadians and Haudenosaunee at 8 o'clock on ESPN2. Then the nightcap, Team USA and Australia. We'll see you tomorrow night in the semis.